Ching. So last night, like everybody else, I got to watch Wonder Woman 1984. And I want to share my thoughts about it. But before I get started on this review, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is going to do their annual bot purge and old account cleanse, and there usually is a little bit of collateral damage. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So let's get started on this review. So I just want to say that this movie is very average in my opinion. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a good movie either. It's very middle of the road, very C plus, as far as grade goes, a 5 out of 10, 6 maybe, there are definitely things I like about it, and there are things that I don't like about it. I'm going to talk about that all through this one. So I want to talk first about my favorite scenes in the movie. Now, before I get into my favorite scenes, I want to talk about one scene that I absolutely did not like at all, and that was the mall fight scene. This scene made me very, like, not upset, but it was so ridiculous. First off, it harkened back to the days of comic book movies like Batman and Robin. It was, very cartoonish, so silly. In my opinion, not Wonder Woman at all. Like, I understand they were going in a different direction, but when it comes to this scene, I felt like they went in a direction that they shouldn't have. I mean, you got one guy who's like spinning around on a little wheel, and I'm all like, this is ridiculous. And whoever's idea this was, it needs to not come up with ideas anymore because it was so ridiculous. I didn't like this scene at all. I wish that it wasn't in the movie. Now that I've got that out of the way, I want to talk about my favorite scenes. So my first favorite scene is, of course, the very first scene of this movie when they're on Themyscira. Now, I have to say, I don't know why this scene was in the movie, just because it didn't really play a part in the rest of the movie except for she says that phrase at the end. So I don't feel like having a 10-minute scene just so she can use a phrase from that scene at the end of the movie is needed. But I liked this scene a lot. It was so good. I loved the whole it was kind of like an obstacle course, and it was very cool. I liked seeing all the different Amazons do their thing. I liked that from the first movie. I liked how they got all these different women. Like they got like a cop, a police officer, and they got like some archers. They were real life. They did these things in real life, and they got them for this movie. And I really like that a lot. I don't know if I don't think they did that for this movie because one person that they didn't have in this movie, but they did have in Wonder Woman, the first one, and in Justice League. Her name is Brooke Ence. I think that, and she plays Pethasila. I'm just going to say that's what it is because I don't know how to pronounce that name. That's her character, and she is a CrossFit, uh, you know, um, bodybuilder, and I don't know if they're called bodybuilder, but she does CrossFit, and she's beautiful and everything. And I liked seeing her in those two movies. I believe she did die in Justice League, but I did like seeing her, and it would have been cool to see her in this one, even if it was for a hot second. But then, you know what? No big deal. That's not like a deal breaker or anything. I just was looking for her and I didn't see it. One person I did see was Dotzin Cross. I don't know if that's how you say her name. She plays Varilla. I like seeing her. She also died in Justice League. I hope she doesn't die in Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut. But I did like seeing her in this scene because she, besides Diana, is my favorite Amazon. And then, of course, we saw Robin Wright. I really think maybe they had this scene in there just because Robin Wright, they have like a 3-picture deal with her, and they're like, we need to use her and stuff. So they're like, get her on the phone, see if she wants to be in Wonder Woman 2 in this scene for a hot minute. Although this scene is really, really good. It's my favorite scene out of the whole movie, but it's, like I said, it's not needed. So, but at the same time, still loved it. Also, I want to say that I did like in this scene that Diana didn't win. I don't like cheaters. I don't like people that cheat, and she cheated, and she didn't deserve to win. So I thought that Antiope pulling her back was good, and I really like that she didn't let her win because she cheated. So then moving on to my next favorite scene is the invisible jet scene. I really like this scene. I thought I wouldn't like this scene because I was like, just because it's in the comic books doesn't mean it has to be in the movie. I thought I wouldn't like this scene, but I did like it. I did like it a lot. I liked how they didn't explain really, they didn't explain a lot of things really well. I mean, they kind of like half explained it, and I'm not like the none of this was deal breaker kind of stuff that they didn't explain it, but I was like, a good writer should be able to explain what they're doing. And so what they did was she did this like thing, and she was all like, my father, he made the island disappear, and so I'm trying to use his power set, figure out his power set to do that with stuff. And she did it with a mug, and she's like, I lost the mug. And I kind of like that joke and everything. And then she did it to the plane, and now the plane is invisible, and it looked just like her invisible jet from the comic book / the old school cartoons. So I did like that. And then I liked how when it flew, the clouds, how they like went around it. I really liked that a lot. I thought it was great. I really liked seeing that. And like I said, I thought I wouldn't like it, but I did like it. I liked it a lot. And so I really hope it's in the third movie, which I'll do another video about. That'll come out today or tomorrow. I don't know. And whenever I got time. But I did like it a lot. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. So the next one is Diana saying goodbye to Steve. Now it was emotional. It was so good. I didn't want her I didn't want him to go away. And I'll talk about how they brought him back and everything when I talk about the characters and stuff. But I really wish they would have brought him back a different way, because I like seeing Steve in this movie. And this scene, I didn't cry. I did get watery-eyed because I'm like, that's really sad that she has to say goodbye to him. And she was like, I'll never love again and everything. And although will she? I mean, there's Batman. She was giving him googly eyes. And then, of course, there's Superman, although he likes Lois. Never mind. But yeah, no, I love this scene. I thought it was really good. And then he was all like, I'll always love you, Diana, as she's walking away. And then she's like, I renounce my wish. And you're just like, oh, that's so sad. It's so sad that she has to give up the one thing that she wants and everything. And the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. And then my last favorite scene is Diana and Cheetah fighting. Now, I'll talk about this again when I go back to visual effects and when I talk about the characters and stuff. But I just want to say that the Cheetah visual effects were not exactly that great. And the thing about Hollywood that I'm getting sick and tired of seeing is they have these fight sequences at night so they can cover up their crappy visual effects. And I just go, listen, you knew this was coming. And I'll talk about Cheetah in a minute, but you knew this was coming. So if you can't do it top notch, don't do it, because I'm sorry. Like, this was not, her being full on Cheetah was not needed for this movie, even though I did enjoy seeing it. I thought I enjoyed Cheetah's look a lot more than I thought I would. And I'll talk about that again when I talk about Cheetah in just a second. But this fight sequence felt like it came out straight out of the comic books. I really liked it a lot. I like seeing Cheetah I like seeing when she had the wings up and you saw Cheetah like scratching at her wings and then she's pulling it apart. I liked seeing that first person shooter kind of thing. I really liked that a lot. And I thought it was really, really good. So now I want to talk about the directing, the score, and the visual effects. As far as directing goes, Patty Jenkins did a good job. I mean, she directed this movie and she did a good job directing it. She did a couple things differently that I liked. For instance, like I just mentioned, that first person shooter kind of visual effects during that fight sequences. I hope that if she does do Wonder Woman 3, maybe we could get another one of those, but also add on to it. You don't want to just stay in the same place, So I hope that she constantly like adds different things to her directing, not just stays in the same place. And so moving on to Hans Zimmer's score. Hans Zimmer, I mean, come on, he's like so good. And the score for this movie was good. I really liked the music a lot. I really think I'm gonna fix this. This thing is like, so Hans Zimmer, I don't have anything else to say except for that he did a good job. I mean, I don't know what else to say about the music in this movie. Was beautiful. It was good. It plussed everything that you were seeing visually. So it did nothing but add to the goodness of this movie. Then I want to talk about the visual effects. The visual effects on this movie were not top-notch like Hans Zimmer. Like I mentioned before, the cheetah visual effects for that last fight were not good. I mean, like, I don't understand why. I mean, they had so much extra time to do that stuff. It's like, why didn't you add to it or make it better? Because like when she's hopping around, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said, I like that fight sequence, but uh it didn't look like a real person. It looked like when she was standing and not jumping around, it looked good. But when she was moving, it looked like a video game. And I'm all like, that's, I mean, what are you going to do? So the visual effects on that wasn't top notch. As far as the other stuff, I understand that Patty Jenkins wanted to do stuff like practical effects, and I do appreciate that. I love practical effects, but the problem with it is some of the stuff just looked wonky. I mean, when Diana is running and she's on wires, I mean, you can tell she's not touching the ground. When that fight sequence where she's battling in Cairo and she's running there, it looks weird. It just it's just so weird. So it doesn't look good. And I just go, sometimes practical effects, it would have been cool if this had happened in the 80s, but it didn't. It's happening circa now. So I need you to step it up with the visual effects and not go back in time. So now I want to talk about the characters of this movie. And the first one I want to talk about is Diana / Wonder Woman. I liked seeing Diana in the sense that she's lonely. She's only got herself. She can't go back to her island and see her family, the Amazons. She lost the man, the love of her life, and she really doesn't have any friends. So like she says, she doesn't go out because she's a crime fighter. And she's embraced being a hero, and she saves people. And the one wish she wants is she just wants somebody to share her life with her. And she gets that wish. And then she says it at the end. I can't remember exactly what I'm paraphrasing, but she's like, the one thing I want, I can't have, kind of thing. And that's sad. That's so sad. I mean, she has to give up being, a working woman to have the love of her life. And that's not fair. So I really did. I did like seeing that. I liked seeing her happy also. I love seeing her with Steve. These two complement each other. And I'm going to talk about Steve right after this, but I'll just talk about him now. Steve, it needs to be in the next one. And he needs to come back permanently. Like, I'm sorry. Chris Pine is fantastic in these movies. And Steve Trevor compliments Diana so well. Like, and, a lot of people want to say, like, if you look at movies like Captain Marvel, Diana is completely different, because even though this is a female-centric movie with a female heroine and a star and everything, I think that Diana, she comes across likable. She's got a male partner that's not as strong as her. He doesn't have superpowers, but he's her equal because he's able to fight. And I don't think that either one of them tries to push the other one aside to stand out in front and say, hey, I'm better than you. They just say, she's like, I'm stronger. And he's all like, I'm a pilot, for instance. And I just think they complement each other really well. And I think that if Steve Trevor's not back in the next one, that's ridiculous and a bad choice, in my opinion. It's such a bad choice. So next one, I just talk about Steve again. I really liked seeing Steve in this movie. One thing that I loved was when he's eating a Pop-Tart and he's had I've had 3 cups of coffee. This world is amazing. And I loved seeing that. I was watching this with my wife, and I told her, I was like, I love seeing this because it's like he's a child and he's experiencing all these things for the first time. I tell her all the time, I love with my kids, because they're so little, when it's like when they experience something for the first time and I get to see their reaction to it, it's like I'm experiencing, because I don't remember the first time I experienced that stuff. And I love this because when he sees that train go by and he's like eyes light up. And then when he goes to see the plane and he just rubs his hands against the plane, like he's feeling it. And he's like, and then he's like, I don't want to see this plane. I want to fly this plane. I'm like, this is such a great character, and we don't get enough of him. Like, and I really liked it a lot. I mean, I really like Steve a lot. I love seeing him in this movie, and I really, they have to bring him back for the third one. They have to. It's not an option. I'm telling you, you're going to bring him back. Okay. I'm not asking. So next I want to talk about Maxwell Lord. Now, Maxwell Lord, I connected with Maxwell Lord the most. And the reason for that is he's a father and I'm a father. I have this tendency, like now that I've become a dad, to connect with father characters in movies and TV shows. Like I automatically get where they're coming from. And for him, I get that where what he wants to show his son that he's not a quote unquote loser, but he just wants to prove something to him. I mean, like, I don't need to prove anything to my kids, but I do want them to see me as, you know, their father and somebody that loves them and is willing to do anything that they can for them. So when at the end, when he renounces his wish for his son, I totally get that. Or when he says, when his son is all like, I wish for you to be successful. And I don't exactly, I'm paraphrasing it because I don't remember his exact words, but, and he's like, oh, you don't waste your wish or whatever on something, you know, frivolous, but he does, he wastes his wish so his dad can be happy. I mean, like, that's great and everything. By the way, that child actor is not very good. I just want to say that right now. They should have hired somebody else. I'm sorry I'm picking on a kid, but he was not good at his job, and they could have hired somebody with better acting skills. But Maxwell Lord, I understood him as the father. As far as a villain goes, they did not explain, at least in my opinion, very well with the whole touching everybody through particles through a satellite. What is that? That's nonsense. That's what that is. But at the same time, I go, it wasn't enough for me to go, this is making me hate the movie, because I didn't hate the movie, but I just, I was just like, this is nonsensical. But at the same time, I just go, it's fine, because we need to wrap this thing up because it was so long. But yeah, I really do wish they would have done his persuasion powers, but it's cool. And I didn't like I'm glad they didn't kill him off, because I hope to see him again. I say bring him back for the third one, even if it's just, or in the DCEU at some point in time. I say bring him back. He'd be a great villain, especially if now that he's been touched by the gods in some way, maybe he could have something go on there. And I'll talk about that in my Wonder Woman 3 video, which will come out either today or tomorrow. I keep saying that, but it will. So last I want to talk about Cheetah, Barbara Minerva. Now let me just get this straight. I like Kristen Wiig. I think she's fun. I really love her when she's on, like, even if the movie's bad, I think that she does a good job playing this quirky kind of character. And I thought she wouldn't do a good job as like an evil kind of villain and everything, but I thought she did a decent job. I don't think that Cheetah should have been in this movie. I think the only reason Cheetah was in this movie was to have a physical knockdown, brawl out fight at the end, and Cheetah does that. I don't think that Maxwell Lord would have been able to do that. And it was nice to see. It was nice to see that, but at the same time, Cheetah wasn't needed for this movie. And I don't think, especially, it wasn't needed for her to change into her cheetah form, because they really don't explain that. She just goes, I want to be an apex predator. I don't want to be like anybody else. I want to be an apex predator. And I'm all like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense to your whole thing. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't, but whatever. It was fine, because I did like seeing her in her final form, speaking of her final form, so I was very critical about her final form as Cheetah. I thought it looked stupid. I wanted more cat-like features in her face. And then somebody angrily commented in a video, I can't remember which one it was, that she's like Chitara from Thundercats. And I was like, you know what, that's an excellent comparison. And now, and also seeing her move, I do like her look. Although it doesn't look like Kristen Wiig when she turns into the cheetah creature. It just looks weird. Like, I like when she looked up at her and she was like looking down before she attacked and everything. I liked seeing that visual. I thought she looked good as Cheetah. I did like this Cheetah. I liked it. I thought I wouldn't like it. I thought I'd hate it, but I did like it. So I hope they bring Cheetah back. And like I said, now that she's been touched by the gods, I hope that she needs to, if they're going to bring her back, she needs to be in full Cheetah form all the time. Like, no going back to non-Cheetah form all the time. So now I want to talk about the plot real quick, and then I'll wrap it up. But the plot real quick to me was very not that great. I mean, it was fine for this movie, but it wasn't that great. I mean, yeah, it was, you know, Maxwell Lord wants a stone to grant wishes. I mean, it's fine, but it was very meh to me. Like maybe a little bit above meh, but it wasn't that great. Like I was like, whatever, it's fine. I'm having a little bit of fun here. So, in conclusion, Wonder Woman 1984 is a fun kind of ride through this world that we got to see, but they should have released this a year ago, the first time around. I don't know what reshoots they had to do, but apparently they had to do reshoots and change some things. They should have just released it because this is a little too late, in my opinion, as far as movies coming out right now. But it's fun. It's not top notch, in my opinion. It's not, it's not better than the first one. The first one's way better, way better. Um, but yeah, I still had fun with this movie. Like, do I like it? Yeah. Do I love it? No. Is it bad? No. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's very, like I said, average. It's very average. It's in the middle of the road. Um, and if you liked it, good. I'm happy for you. I mean, I watched it with my kids. My daughter loved it. She was wearing these little bracelets. She kept going ching ching and everything. We were having a good time. Uh, you know, uh, and everything. So yeah. All right. So that is my review for Wonder Woman 1984. Tell me, what did you guys think about this movie? Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? Who was your favorite character? What was your favorite scene? All that good stuff. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next Wonder Woman video. You guys have a good day. Ching ching. Bye.